This video is going to be extremely important. Why? Because today we are going to talk about one of the biggest new law changes that I've seen in my entire life. And not knowing this new law can cost you, the business owner, up to $500 per day or 2 years in the federal prison if you don't pay. This is going to really affect you if you own rental properties. But now, let's take a deep breath. So that's why in this video, I will also tell you how you can avoid to paying this $500 fine per day. So to all my real estate owner, you might want to watch this video and pay close attention. So you are watching the Financial Coffee channel. Let's get into this. So what is this new law that is so important that it has this crazy huge penalty that every business owner needs to know about? Okay, so for those of you that don't know, there's a federal agency inside the Treasury Department, right? They are like the sister company of the IRS because they are both inside the Treasury Department. This agency is called FinCEN, which stands for Financial Crime Enforcement Network. So FinCEN came up with a new act called the Corporate Transparency Act. And the Corporate Transparency Act will require all business owners to submit a new type of report for all of their business entities. This new report is called the Beneficial Ownership Information Report, or BOI. And when we talk about what that means, we need to know it and why you need to do it. So FinCEN came up with the Corporate Transparency Act that is going to require all business owners to submit this Beneficial Ownership Information Report, or BOI report, for all of their business entities. So starting January 1st, 2024, if you had an LLC before 2024, then you have to file this report by December 31st of 2024. Right now it's December 2023. So if you have one LLC in December 2023, you have until next year, which is December 31st, 2024, to file this BOI report to make sure that you are compliant with the Corporate Transparency Act. You still have some time, but you better hurry up. If you own rental properties, this is going to affect you as well because most people who own real estate and most real estate owners that I know of have several LLCs. But I want you to know this at the very top of the year so that you can plan and get it out of the way. Because let me tell you the real crazy part, okay? If you decide to set up a new LLC in January 2024, you only have 90 days, 90, from the day of filing your LLC or entity paperwork to then file the BOI report. And if you don't file the BOI report within 90 days of filing a new entity, the penalty is $500 per day, okay? It is very important for all new business owners because it can cost us a lot of money in fees and penalties if we don't do it, or if we don't just know that we need to do it. But unfortunately, guys, just saying that you didn't know it is not going to cut it this time because FinCEN is not playing. They really are not playing. When I say that it's the biggest law update in my entire life, I really mean it. Now, let's talk about what are the penalties. Willful failures to report complete or update beneficial ownership information are punishable by civil penalty of up to $500 per day that each violation continues, and in certain cases, criminal penalty of up to $10,000, 2 years imprisonment, or both. So the penalty is going to be $500 per day and per entity up to $10,000 per entity. So if you only have one LLC, it's $500 per day up to $10,000. Now if you have two LLC, it's $500 a day times 2 up to $20,000. Up to $20,000 for two LLCs. Or if you don't want to pay the penalty, no problem. All you have to do is spend 2 years in the federal prison. So either you pay the penalty or you spend 2 years in the federal prison. Either way you take it, it's a bad deal. So I want you all to understand the importance of this so that you don't get caught, then have to pay the penalty or do jail time or both. But now, let's take a deep breath and let's dive a little bit deeper into this Corporate Transparency Act. Let's see what we have to do about it and how we can best set ourselves up to win. Who does the Corporate Transparency Act affect? Well, according to FinCEN, it affects domestic reporting companies, corporation, S&C corporation, limited liability companies or LLCs, and any other entities created by the filing of a document with the Secretary of State or any similar office in the United States. It also affects foreign reporting companies, including corporation and limited liability companies, including corporation, LLCs, formed under the law of a foreign country that have registered to do business in the U.S. by the filing of a document with the Secretary of State or any similar office. So basically, it affects all business owners if you have one of these type of entities: LLC, LP, limited partnership, LLP, S Corp, C Corp, and partnership. The only type of entity that it doesn't apply to is sole proprietorship. So if you're a sole proprietor, this doesn't apply to you, simply because a sole proprietor is not an actual entity. As a sole proprietor, you don't have to file any type of entity paperwork. To be a sole proprietor, you just say, hey, I want to start a business. Guess what? You are now a sole proprietor. So if you have any entity outside of a sole proprietor, this affects you. Now, check this out. If you have several entities, you have to do it for each of them too. Don't think that, oh, you just forgot about your other LLCs. No. I know this is going to affect all my real estate people, all my real estate owners that have properties in different LLCs. So now that we know who it will affect, I think it's important to understand why they are doing this. So FinCEN came out and made a statement and said, hey, there are so many people operating illegal businesses and sheltering themselves behind LLCs. And these people don't have to put their name as ownership. In the US alone, there are more than 21 million LLCs. That's the entire population of both New Jersey and Pennsylvania combined. That's a lot of LLCs. But there are also many people doing illegal business. There are so many people who are scamming other people or doing all kinds of illegal activities through LLCs and through EIN. But because they don't have the name on the LLC, or because they might have it in a trust, or they might not share the list of the managers, the IRS or FinCEN can't do anything about tracking down these falsified LLCs. So they had enough of it. They were like, okay, all these people are laundering money. All these people are scamming other people through LLCs. We have to do something about it, even if it affects the innocent people, right? So that's why they came up with the Corporate Transparency Act, which will require everyone who files an entity to give their name, date of birth, their address, and a copy of their driver's license or passport. But here's the thing, guys. The information won't be public. It will be private to FinCEN use only. But they want to know who the owner is. And they claim that they are not going to make the information available to the public. But to be honest with you, and this is only my personal opinion, there is one other reason why they are doing this. There are so many people who live in one state but set up the LLC in a different state that they don't do business in just to avoid state taxes. For example, I lived in California for over 10 years. I know several people who live in California, but because they don't want to pay California state taxes and they don't want to pay California $800 per year franchise tax fee, they set up an LLC in Nevada despite living in California. So basically, they do business in California, but their business entity or the LLC is set up in Nevada. And for those of you who don't know, Los Angeles is about 5.5 hour drive away from Las Vegas. Now, when these people set up their business entity that way, it's really hard for the IRS or FinCEN to know who the real business owners are. But with this new BOI report, they can track you down with your name, your address, your driving license, and or your passport. So let's assume that you live in California, right? But you register your LLC in Nevada and you do business in California. With the BOI report requirement, they are going to match that BOI report against your LLC. They might ask you why your LLC is in Nevada, but you live in California. They might also ask you to prove that you are actually doing business in Nevada. Now, let me tell you how you can protect yourself against this new law so that you don't have to pay the $500 fine per day, or in the worst case scenario, spend 2 years in a federal prison, or do both. So the first thing that you need to do is wait until January 1st, 2024. Because before January 1st, there is nothing you can do. Then, after January 1st, 2024, you can go to fincen.gov/BOI. And this is what the website will look like. They say that it's a short application, and I believe you only have to file it once per entity. But you have to update the report into perpetuity if one of these three things happens. If you change your business address, if you change your personal address, or if your entity ownership change. So if one of those three things happens, you have to go back to the FinCEN website and update the report within 90 days. And if you don't, the fine is $500 per day up to $10,000. Or you can spend 2 years in a federal prison. It's up to you. Let me tell you a little secret. Do you know that the IRS is charging you 8% interest on your taxes if you are late or delinquent? To find out how you can legally avoid paying that interest and how much they charge you, click on the video that appears on the screen right now. That is all for today. Thank you for watching the Financial Coffee channel, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.